Good morning, Mike and Arlen, our Philippine journey. Thank you so much for dropping by. We really appreciate it. You know something? Nothing lasts forever. It's here today sometimes and gone tomorrow. And it's not just relationships that I'm talking about, although that's a big part of it. Let's talk about it.
Why'd you have to go? I guess this world's too slow for you. I think there's beauty in the gray, the cold, but you just want the gold. And there's no way I can beat it, cause I got no chance, no chance when it comes to her. She got the glitter and the fame, and I just wasn't enough.
Look, if you are a single guy and you're thinking of coming to the Philippines or you're here in the Philippines, let me give you a few thoughts on the reality of life. When I say nothing lasts forever, I think all of you know that relationships are certainly subject to that. But that's not what this is about by any way, shape, or means. No, it's not. When we look at how things work in our minds and what we see and what we like, those things all click when it comes to where we choose to live. Now, if you're married, it's a little different because, there's another person involved in where we live. But if you're a single guy or you're just fresh into a relationship, then where you live might change. And I'll tell you why I'm saying this. All right, don't think about, it's not just this blanket where it changes thing. That's not it. Okay? I want you to think about it because you've experienced it already. I'm sure many of you have. I was on the phone last night before, with my best friend in the US. He's like my brother. And during and after that conversation, um, it dawned on me. I had to think back and consider what we talked about. You know something? When I was younger, we traveled all over the U.S. We led a lifestyle that exposed us to many, many different locations. All right. Some natural beauty, some urban beauty, some, just all kinds of things. And we traveled outside of the country as well. In fact, we owned property down in Mexico. I go back and I start to think of things. I remember when I used to think in the future, this is where my future is going to be. This is everything that I want is here. This location is perfect. This neighborhood is perfect. These friends that I have here are perfect. These family around me are perfect. All of that changed, and it continuously changed. I made a commitment in 1990, no, in 2000. No, no, it wasn't 2000. 1999, it was. I was currently married to ex wife number two. And I said, you know something? I'm going to retire here. And these are all the reasons. And I built my dream home, 5,000 square feet within four walls and a roof, additional square footage and patios and balconies, a beautiful pool, everything. It was a 18-month ordeal building a custom home. And this was going to be the home that my daughter would grow up in and that my ex-wife, number two, would retire in. It was set up the right way. I did everything the best way that I knew that I would need for the future. I knew it was quite possible I would need a mother-in-law suite. I knew I needed a master downstairs at some point in older age. I knew the pool needed to be self-cleaning. I knew all of these things. I had relatives in the area. I had friends in the area. We had, I mean, these are people we spent literally every weekend and sometimes a couple nights during the week if we had time, doing dinners and potlucks and playing cards and laughing and joking and whatever. All right? I look back now. I really, and this is why I say things change and how it compares for you here in the Philippines, something that you need to think about. All the friends that we had there, they're gone. They've all moved. I would be retired and they've all left. Family, some divorced, some moved on. It's done. The neighborhood. Our neighborhood's still great. That neighborhood is still a very, very upscale private community. Okay? But with that being said, I then thought about something else. I thought about, you know, I would love to do, or some of the things as a younger man, even younger than in 99, things that, places that we had been. I had said, oh, I would love to retire in Marathon, Florida. I'd have my boat. I'd just fish. I'd probably get my six. In fact, I did eventually get my six-pack license so I could do charters, the whole 9 yards. Nah, that didn't work out at all. There were other places, some of which I said, this is just great. I could never, I had such a grand time here. This was the perfect location. And now it's pretty much a ghetto, a wasteland. You know, where were you when you're in your earlier stages and you started to think about where you might go? What is those places like? Well, let's translate that into the Philippines. The Philippines is evolving constantly, constantly. And some of it's not good. All right? I'll give you an idea. For instance, the Bel Air area and villages in Makati. They are old school, nouveau rich money years and years ago. I mean, you're going to pay in Bel Air, you can be paying upwards of $2 and $3 million for a house. There are areas of Bel Air that are surrounded by slums. You know, 40 years ago, it wasn't like that when they started. That was a semi-rural area, so to speak. Not rural, but semi-urban, I guess is the best word. How do you think those people feel now? Inside Bel Air, it's still as pristine, well kept, and everything else. What about if you buy a place and you and your Philippine partner have land at the beach? What's that going to be like in 10 years? Is it still going to be there because of the weather, number one? But number two, who's going to be your neighbor and what are they going to be like? Are they going to do anything? My point with that is that we really would suggest that before you decide to settle down, I mean, look at here we are right now, okay? We live 90% of the time in a condo right here in Angeles City. We have tons of restaurants, both local and foreign. And I'm not talking about just Western food, I'm talking about multiple foods from different countries. Indian food, you know, Japanese food, Korean food, American food, Mexican food, it's all over. All right. We have a entertainment district, which is not a part of our lifestyle, but it is a driving force of tourism. We have Clark Air Force Base, or the old Clark Air Force Base. Clark now is a free zone, okay, which is fast evolving into a world class golf and gambling destination. Um, all of these things. We have the train coming through. I don't know that 15 years from now, I'd want to live in this condo. And that's why we left the decor the way it is, because it's part of the rental package for the property management. Everything in this unit can be replaced. So if we decide to leave, we put it into the rental pool, they manage it, they can replace anything that gets broken and everything else. My point with that is you've got no idea. You don't know where that area is going to be and what it's going to be like. It's not like in the West sometimes. Building a future is one thing, but when you're in the later stages of your life, owning property here in the Philippines, unless it's part of your package, your survivorship package for your partner, may not be a very good option. It may actually be one of the worst options. It really should. I mean, for instance, summers here, I just had to have all the aircon units serviced. We do it twice a year, believe it or not. And that's because the air here is so bad that we have to wash down the insides because of all the grit. When I say insides, the outside compressor, all of that, the cooling fins, condensation fins, all need to be rinsed off and washed down. Um, my point with all of this, and certainly we would like your opinion. If you're single, does it make sense for you to actually own a condo? And if you're partnered, should you rush into buying a land and building? Perhaps you should consider what's going to happen in the future and how it's going to happen. There's no doubt in my mind that where we live is going to become more congested. It's going to become busier. And like everything, it's going to inherit the problems that come with that. It just doesn't matter. You can see it all over Angeles. You can see older communities in Dahau and Mabalacat and all of the surrounding communities the same way. However, there are beautiful communities in those areas as well, but they get isolated sometimes. All I'm saying is think hard and think deep about it, because nothing lasts forever. What's good today may certainly not be good tomorrow. Your thoughts, your comments, we appreciate it. Have a great day.